Welcome to the GHQ Crew podcast, where golf meets laughs, legends, and a little bit of chaos. Before we dive into our swinging stories and banter, a quick heads up. The views expressed here are entirely our own and do not necessarily reflect those of the fine club companies we represent. So grab your favorite beverage, kick back, and let's get ready to tee off on a wild ride through the world of golf and beyond. Let's go.
Welcome to the GHQ Crew podcast, where I know we're hilarious, but it's time to get serious because this girl's game makes a lot of people furious. Might have been the best one ever.
Bro. You made that up?
I made that up.
This morning, or did it come
Last
to you in
night.
a dream?
It was last night. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, we got to have a good opener for this one because this girl, state champion.
State champ.
State champ.
Wait a minute. And this guy, state champ.
State champ. So this is going to be a good episode. I know I say this every episode, but we got two state champs in the hot seat today. And the cool thing about this dynamic duo is it's a father-daughter.
Another amazing father-daughter duo.
Yeah. And we're excited to have none other than the Wood family in the hot seats today. How are y'all?
We're great.
Doing
Hey,
good?
I mean, it's tough to follow up the Darnolds. That's tough.
So their episode aired last night. Yeah.
It's tough. We watched it last night, and man, there ain't two better human beings in the world than those two right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're awesome.
Emmy changed her game, and Brandon. You know, there was one time we were in Andrews playing in a tournament. She was playing terrible, and we met her. She was going to 10. We were going to 1. And she said, "How's Riley playing?" I said, "Terrible." He goes, "I'm gonna sit here and wait." I said, "Emmy, you're winning the tournament. Go tee up." "Nope, I'm gonna give her a hug." Like, go play your game. And she sat there until she got off of 18 to go to 1, and gave her a hug and told her to be okay. So,
Did it change around?
It helped.
Moral support.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is for clarification, they're not on the same team.
No,
Andrews and then Garden
but
City.
they're our goal. That's what we're
Sure.
trying to get to, is me to be the human being that dude is, for her to be the golfer and a human being that Emmy is, because I mean, one of the pivotal points in her golfing career is we played in we played some West Texas junior golf stuff, and played in San Angelo, and you know, she played at Bentwood, our home course, and she shot, I think, 85, I mean, and she's in the top 4. Well, she has to play with Emmy, Zoe, and a girl from Wall named Shay West, which she won multiple state championships at that level. And Dad is on the side going, "Oh my gosh, we're with the big dogs now." And so, you know, she tees off, and you could have thrown a blanket over her. And then they started throwing wedges in the greens, and we're like, okay, we need to be more like them. And then, you know, Brandon took her off to the side and just gave her the biggest pep talk, and it flipped. We went from shooting 90s to 80s, and then, it's those two are amazing, unbelievably nice.
You don't have to share everything he said, but now I have to know. No way Darnold's that brilliant.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
He's pretty awesome.
pretty good.
He's pretty awesome.
I mean, brilliant, just kind. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I still got to lob one at my dog. You know, I gotta let him have it a little bit.
He
But
talks about Riley like she's Emmy, and just the way the passion that he has for Riley to do well in her world of golf. You know, obviously it's not what Emmy is, but and he truly cares about Riley Wood. And he doesn't have to. She's just a 1A girl. I mean,
yeah. We've talked about her though.
Yeah.
That's true. He does that in here.
Yeah.
He talks very fondly of you.
He's a good one.
So what did he say to you?
Well, that day I was having a bad mental day, and I gave up on that day. And he told me, you know, I have a circle to be mad in, and then after I get out of that circle, all I need to think about is the next shot and doing better after that, and that really helped. He's gave me a putting lesson after a tournament, which has helped me a lot, but he's always cheering me on. Like, there was one tournament I teed off and I heard someone screaming behind me, and I turned around and it was him. So that was pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah, he, like I said, you know, just they're our top. That's what we're trying to get to, and they've helped us out a ton. And me, I heard him talking yesterday about just the way he approaches and the way and I obviously I'm not there yet, but just how he handles her and disappointment and I try to do the best I can, but it's tough when you're coach and dad. It's
Sure.
a little harder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a different aspect. But.
So this is a question we ask a lot of the parent-child duos. What's that? We'll start with Riley. What's that dynamic like to have dad as coach?
There's pros and cons.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. It's good not having a coach tell me one thing and my dad telling me the other.
Sure.
That helps a lot. He knows what I need. He knows what I need on the golf course. There's definitely some fighting involved and frustration involved, but he does well.
He does well.
I'll say this: I don't think we fight on the golf course. Like
No.
Here recently, when she was younger, I would talk to her, and anybody that knows me, there's, I watch her way too much. I'm the coach, and I need to spread myself out, and sometimes I don't, and, but I try to get around to the other kids, I try, but I watch her way too much. But it's more of off the course, like. Because I'm a golf nerd. Well, you saw my swing. I'm terrible. I got fitted for a driver, and I'm thinking, going, I can't fit you. You don't hit a ball the same way every time. But
Not true.
I'm a golf nerd, and I keep up with the high school ranks, and all these kids. My older daughter played with Anaya, and then y'all were talking about Rebecca Reed the other day, and y'all were talking about somebody. That's Camilla. So I know all those people, and it's just. When I see kids playing in tournaments and like Riley, because she's a cheerleader and she does a lot of stuff, and sometimes I just get overbearing about like we need to be playing. But on the course, when we go play it, we're members of Bentwood and San Angelo, and I ride in the cart with my friends. She goes off on her own, and I realize she doesn't need me to tell her what she knows what to do at this point. So on the course, I don't think we have many problems. It's off the course. I see the girl from Grady's played in a tournament. The girl from Kroll that's chasing her is playing in a tournament, and I'm like, we need to be playing more tournaments. But she does a lot. Sometimes dad just got to back off and just let her be a kid. But
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah, there's a healthy side to it too, right? Like you understand the importance of the chase, right? Something to chase,
Right.
and aspiring to be great, and trying to take that next step, the next level. That's served you well.
Sure.
State champ. So I think that's a cool story that we'll get to in a minute. I wanted to say one thing, kind of going back to Brandon. Krista Escamilla said this to me a couple years ago. I was on her podcast with her, and man, this really stuck out. But there's these giants in our life, right? And sounds like Brandon may be one of those giants, one of those people that was really able to get to you, so to speak. And it's an awesome thing when you have that type of giant in your life. Have you looked at it from that perspective?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So kind of it's not even mentor really. It's just like cheerleader is a good word.
Right.
In your particular case, but it's confidence inspiring, and it kind of helps give you a perspective outside of coach/dad, right? And I think that's a healthy dynamic as well. Those are good things. It's not that you necessarily were seeking that, but in a way you kind of were, right?
Right.
That's so cool. Well, there's this amazing state championship story. Now, you and I got to work together for a little bit, which was so awesome. I can't even tell you. I saw it right away. Great talent. Unrealized talent was what was in my head. Like, I got to get this girl some swag. We got to get her a little swaggy. You know what I'm saying, Clinton, right? Like,
Yeah.
Got to get her going a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll. Who am I thinking of? Brooks Koepka-ish, right?
Yeah.
You know, but we don't want to go that far. You know, we're not saying
I mean,
be a douche. We're saying we need some swag, right?
Right.
Which is what? Just some confidence. But something really cool happened. Your state story is very interesting, and I want to dive into a couple of aspects of this. So to kind of set you up here, you mentioned the year before, right? Your sophomore season.
Right.
You went to state and finished.
I finished second.
Yeah. And what did that do? How'd that feel?
It lit a fire in me.
Yeah.
I was not going into state my sophomore year, was not expecting to get second. I knew I had to put 2 solid rounds together to slide in the third, hopefully. But did not think I'd end up in second. So
Yeah.
that was exciting.
And so from there, it lit a fire, and you did something that, quite frankly, you know, we talked about in our sessions, you know, getting that confidence, don't let me believe as much as you do, right? Or don't
let me believe in you more than you believe in you.
Yep, that's the one. But there was this cool thing that happened.
Mhm.
You said out loud, not only to me, but I think also in other areas, right? I'm going to win state. You kind of manifested that.
Mhm.
And to anybody out there watching that aspires to be a state champion or is a younger golfer, etc., that's the playbook. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You say out loud what it is you're going to do, because guess what? That's where your brain will go, right? It's very
Mhm.
powerful.
Well, yeah.
And that's not being arrogant.
Right.
That's just, I'm going to go do this thing.
Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah, one of the things you said to me when we first came here,
You're just on fire today.
you know, you even opened up my eyes as, you know, I guess as a qualifier, I was always saying, well, she's 1A good.
Yeah.
And you watched her swing about 3 times and you turned and she said, she's not 1A good. She's just good.
Yeah.
And so even me, I mean, you know, playing in that tournament with Emmy and all them saying, hey, we're not, like, we can drive it with these kids and, you know, we just need to hit more greens because that's what they were doing.
Sure.
And so that was one of the major factors in her getting to it. And to be honest with you, the second factor is us coming here. And again, this is all brand. I said, hey, where does Emmy get fitted for clubs? Here. And when we left this place 4 hours after we got here,
Really?
was
Come
like-
on, man. They're gonna bust my chops the rest of the day.
No, it was wonderful. It was, I mean, you had a room, you had a store full of people and you made her feel like she was the most important person. And I just remember you stopping her going, you don't know how good you are, do you? And that was, and truly, like, coming here and getting fitted for them. First of all, she started hitting the ball about 15 yards further. So she's hitting wedges into where she was hitting 8 yards before. But those two things, playing with those girls, knowing that how good those girls were and knowing that she was not far off, and then coming to see you, just, I mean, we call you the mental coach. That's what we say. We're going to go see our mental coach. That's what we said. You know, she didn't have to come watch me get fitted or my friend that day. She wanted to, because she knew when she walked in here, you were going to make her feel like she's the best golfer in the world. And
Yeah.
you know, she's just this little one girl that just, you know, the next thing is we walked in here and there's people everywhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, why? And some older man came in and sat down when my buddy was here, and we're like, why are all these people? And now that I've deep dived into this podcast because I really think it's amazing. I just realized this is like a sports bar with no alcohol. Like, people just hang out in here. It's amazing. Like,
It's a great way to look at it.
I've been
We've been asked to get beer.
Yeah.
So
I've
yeah,
been binge watching, and first of all, y'all were talking about flares. Why do they burn the flares? If it burns, why do they not capture it and sell it? Y'all talked about that with the guy from
Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
And anybody that calls it Taco Villa is a nerd.
All right. Well, it's been a great episode.
To the point, I went And when they came over the microphone, they said, "Welcome to Taco Villa." They didn't say Villa.
Yeah.
So
Every once in a while, you'll get the newbie.
No,
That'll fire a welcome to Taco Villa
Hold
at you.
up, hold up.
now, and I know this has already been buried, and I'm digging up old things here.
Well, you
but-
done dug it up, and here's what I'm going to say about this. It's not a newbie. It's somebody who actually speaks Espanol.
So I grew up in Cahoma, Texas. The thing that I did my whole entire life was drive up down what we called Greg Street. It's 87. There's a Taco Villa right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd lived there. I've eaten more Taco Villa food than in my high school years than any other food. And
I respect it.
When I hear someone say Taco Villa, it's like I call Chick-fil-A chicken filet. I think they're trying to be funny. You know?
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to be cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's Taco Villa. What are you
Yeah.
crazy?
I get it. You know, I was just a good
right.
Spanish student. It's okay that you weren't, but
Hey, obviously, I'm a good fast food
Yeah,
student.
yeah.
so-
Yeah. What nothing,
All right.
David? That was awesome.
dang it.
Oh, one other one. Tiger's the best golfer to ever hold a golf club. Jack was the best golf professional. That's my opinion on that.
I won't argue that.
I don't hate it.
I don't dispute that at all.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
Tiger's the best golfer to ever hold a golf club. But
We have a really cool picture in the bathroom of all places.
Ben Hogan.
Ben Hogan.
Oh, that picture's been around.
What? Let me think. I don't want to butcher this, but it says. It doesn't say just so that everybody knows, but it's something like that. Okay, folks. And then it's I am a golf professional first and a professional golfer second.
You're saying more that Jack was a great ambassador for the game.
absolutely.
Tiger
Hey,
was
man.
the best player.
Tiger
yeah.
kind of derailed his.
There's a big, you know,
he did.
a 9-iron.
I mean, he did. Yeah. I mean, but that's water under the bridge.
we've got a great episode coming up with a former PGA Tour professional, Jared Turner. And what's really funny is I called him a mean word
You
and
did.
said he was a mean word to people. Starts with a, you know what?
No,
We don't
it
even
doesn't
need to say
matter.
it. We don't
You
even
just-
say
it
it.
was
It's just-
said.
she's-
They're going to watch the episode.
She's a coach's kid. She's heard it.
Okay. Well,
He just called him mean.
because I'm just so respectful of you and love you so much, I'm not going to say it. But what I was alluding to was the chip on his shoulder, right? Like this competitive edge that he had to have. You've kind of learned that, right? But it goes to this exponential level. And to touch on what you're talking about, Jack had that same chip. He had that same competitive edge that nobody was going to beat him on any given day. And I'm the best player in the world and I'm going to show you why, right? Type of mentality. And that it's kind of that, in you ready? That's how cool I am. In modern language, he's a savage, right?
Right.
Both of them were savages. But I asked Jared, I said, you know, why was that difficult, I guess, for him, right? And he's like, no, because he was always trying to show, like, he had so many people through his life that said he couldn't do it. It took one, by the way, that said that
Told
said
him
that
to
he
change sport. Oh, no, you said, yeah.
could, you know,
Gotcha.
that said that he could.
Yeah.
You know who that was? Him. It took one to say that he could do it. And so I'm a firm believer in life. And this is, man, I'm going to hug Brandon next time I see him. I think in life you have to have at least one person tell you that they believe in you, because that is so incredibly powerful, especially in a world now where people just want to tear people down. They want to, run their mouth instead of, say something productive and encouraging to people. They just want to be
Mean.
mean.
It's not what you wanted to say.
It's not what I wanted to say.
But it's right. We need people to encourage people. It's amazing how different.
I almost said it again.
It's amazing how different
help.
this world would be if people use their words to encourage instead of tear down.
Yeah, I mean, even on the global scale, there wouldn't be wars if people just.
Encourage.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be. But
As a coach, like I feel like sometimes, you even just sitting here today, in some of your description, you're a little hard on yourself, as far as some of those things, right? But at the same time, I think that's what makes you a great coach. I think that's why you have rings.
Well,
You're saying we're going for our fifth one,
one for the thumb.
one for the thumb, right? We've got 4.
2 of the boys, 2 of the girls.
Yeah, baby.
18 and 19 with the boys, 23, 24 with the girls.
Yeah.
Back to back.
So we're
to back.
I mean, this sounds bragging. We won by 73 strokes. So graduated one senior. So I'm thinking, well, she was at 73 strokes. So we have a chance. But what we're dealing with now is winning it was tough, and she did it. She worked. I didn't have to. Her older sister she would have went to 4 state championships too, finished in the top 10 every year she was there, but she didn't work like this one. I mean, but it wasn't, she didn't like golf the way that Riley liked golf. And so, she we used to take lessons with a guy at Bentwood, and he would ask her, "What's your goals?" She would say, "I just want to be better than her." That was her goal. And and so I guess when she was a freshman, her older sister came down and was riding in the cart with me, and she was hitting it, and she's driving it, and she kept looking at me. She says, when did she start doing that? And I said, "Logan, she practices all the time." And so at the end of the round, I think she ended up getting 4th as a freshman. Her sister said, and we got 3rd as a team. So that was the first, medal a daughter had gotten. And she said, "Okay, you're better than me." Her sister told her she was better than me. And that meant more than that bronze medal around her neck than anything. But
there's a trend here. You got to have something to chase, don't you?
I do.
Well, and that's what
That's interesting.
The reason I told that story is what we're finding now is, it was tough to win it, but man, it's really tough to get yourself up again to go try to win it again.
Mm-hmm.
You win it and you think it's going to be something, and it's great, but sometimes it's just not what you thought it was going to be. Sometimes it's just tough to get back on that horse and grind through, doing it again.
Yeah, that's interesting. You said that.
I did.
That's where I was going a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is you said when you won state, you were like, eh. And I asked you this question. I was like, well, is that because of maybe the expectation, right?
Right.
Meaning you did what you expected yourself to do, right? Or was it just that, were you running out on the green? I even brought this. Did I bring this up in the podcast with Emmy?
Mm-hmm.
That I was talking to you about that? Or did I just tell him? Anyway, I brought it up that because Emmy, and she was telling her state championship story, and they all ran out, and it was like
confetti
and balloons and firecracker. Yeah, there was firecrackers. Right? But it was just cool, right? Like they all did that not happen? Was it like you putted out and was like, all right?
I didn't know I won until for a while.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think I did.
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
So first day did not go how I wanted it to.
Okay.
It wasn't the best day. I am in second, which was already a shock to me.
Behind a teammate, which is we've never had to chase a teammate. So,
that was interesting.
Yeah.
Keegan Botla had a heck of a day for Garden City that day. We were very proud of her. And there was no like, oh God, let's go. Let's do this. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you'd have been happy to finish second to her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happier than someone else.
I'm creating drama. No more drama, Jared. Okay.
No drama. We would have been obviously disappointed, but
sure. You would have also been elated for her because it would have been a team win.
For sure.
Sure.
But second day, I was nervous. We had a better day. Well, kind of. First 8 holes, I'm even. Take a double on 9. And then we went 3-putt. So I was going into scoring was scary.
Yeah.
I was also playing with the number 2s, which I'm not used to.
Uh-huh.
And the people behind me are the people I'm competing against. So not playing with them was also interesting and not knowing where they're at. But I go into scoring, I look at the board and I'm tied for the lead. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to play another playoff at state.
Because when she got second, she had to play a playoff.
Ah, okay.
And I break down crying because I'm like, there's no way I won. Because the back 9 was so rough. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the UIL had to move the boys tournament on the same day as the girls tournament because the greens at Plum Creek where we were supposed to play, they moved it to Crystal Falls, and they had already determined that we're just going to do a playoff, card playoff. 9, last 6, last 3, I think the way they did it. And it came down to that. So
yeah. Well, they take it off the back 9 score, and we tied. So then they took the last 6 holes, and I think I got her by 3.
She was 6 over. She was 3 over.
Oh my goodness! It was like nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you not like do cartwheels and stuff? Like, how is this kind of like a lackluster thing?
I think it's more like,
was it the stress of all of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on the way over here. Like at the course, when all the kids, first of all, Keegan come off with playing the number 1. She said, "Coach, I never want to do that again." I was like, "Yeah, that's playing with the number 1s. It's tough." She's like, "I don't want to do that again. Let Riley do it." And I said, "Well, we don't get that choice." But at the event, yeah, it was hugs, and then we do a little tradition where we jump. And I noticed Andrews does the same thing. I didn't get that. It's just like, I think because I felt kind of the same way after the first one with the boys in 18. You kind of get home and it's just like, oh, we still live in Garden City. Not that living in Garden City is a bad place, but it's just, you just go back to life, and it doesn't, so you go, man, I did all that work, and not the joy, but the excitement, and everybody, everybody's very nice to her and says congratulations, but it's just like, okay, we're back here, and now we got to get back on that horse and do it again. And
It's the Urban Meyer effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
back to work.
And it's to the point too. And again, I'm not dog. It's just like people just expect us to go to state every year. And I mean, we've been 10 years in a row with either a boy or a girls team or an individual or and it's almost like they just expect it. Like, the first time we went with 18, we came home and there was 100 people waiting on us. There was like maybe 15 this time. It was great. I mean, we loved it. It was fun, but it's almost like it's expected now. Like it's just expected that we're going to win state or go to state and do well or medal. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that's what the golf team does. I mean, that's what happened. So,
dude, you ready? I'm on fire too. You were on fire earlier. You passed the flame to me.
I've handed the torch.
Yeah.
It is Olympics.
Look at us, man. Listen, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I've got a new reality series that we can do it. I'm fine with us doing it.
We have the equipment.
You ready? Here's the title. Chasing Andrews.
oh man, that is
High school golf in West Texas. Chasing Andrews.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that
10 in a row. 10 in a row.
Yeah.
It's almost dynastic.
I'm with you 100% on the quality of golf that's out here that never gets looked at. And be from West Texas and 1A. See how well, I mean, you had 3 colleges watching her at state, and she went even par and they left. She double bogey the next hole, but
She's like, I'm
Had to show off.
Yeah.
and like you said, we're realistic about what she is. She's probably a D3 or a JUCO person, but it's just tough. I mean, it's just tough to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a couple things there. Number one, the JUCO route's not an unpopular route right now.
No, it's
because of
great.
the transfer portal and NIL and all this other garbage they're doing. And by the way, this is the last year, thank goodness, for all the aspiring high school players because, all of the seniors now are on their last year of COVID eligibility, right?
Yeah.
So that's a positive. But Clinton, you said it, and we're going to mention on every one of these podcasts that we have one of the high school players on. How much is left on the table for women?
Over $100,000 every year.
Yeah.
On
So
scholarships.
what I'm saying is really the sky's the limit there in terms of, D2, D3, D1, because so much money's left on the table for multiple reasons. In fact, we were just talking to Mike Mays the other day. His son is an unbelievable baseball player. I mean, this kid's what, sophomore, junior?
Yeah.
No, he's a senior this year.
This is senior year.
He's a senior this year. But what he's doing is, I mean, this kid's been recruited since he was young. He's always been in, the whatever they
Travel
call it.
ball.
Yeah, that deal. And I mean, he had some really awesome colleges looking at him. Every one of them was true if they were D1. Every one of them. Well, we're going to hit the transfer portal, but we encourage you to hang in there. But it's like, listen, dude, I'm good enough to go there, a year or two ago. And now you're telling me, no, you're not gonna, because you're gonna go in the transfer portal. Like, it's kind of silly the way things are working out. But the point I'm making is, really, you could go with the numbers that you shoot if the desire was there, right? If that was what you want to do on the next level. But this is interesting because I know that, David, this was on your heart to talk about, and I'm going to let you run with it. But one of the things that you mentioned to us the other day, and man, I don't want to butcher like this concept for you, but essentially it was like bringing the awareness to what 1A golf is. It's actually quite competitive. There's
For sure.
tons of great players that are at that level.
Yep.
And I think you kind of feel like maybe it's not getting the respect it deserves. Is that kind of what you were alluding to?
I don't know if I'd call it respect. Yeah, kind of. I mean, not in a negative way, not getting the respect it deserves. It's basically 1A in general. I mean, and I was a 11-man football coach for 17 years. You know? And I was the same. In fact, when I got called for this job, my buddy of mine I coached with at Winners, he said, "Hey, I got a job for you." Like, are y'all going 11-man? I still coach football. And he said, "No, we're still 6-man." I'm like, I don't know. And then he said, "You can be the golf coach." Well, at that time, my older daughter was already playing in North Texas stuff in Fort Worth. We coached in a little town called Godley. We lived in Cleburne, so she was playing, and I could tell that she had a little talent. So I don't have any sons, so I wanted to coach my daughters. So that's why so I did 6-man football, and I'm a horrible 6-man football coach because I'm a defensive guy, and they score way too much for me. I lose my mind. I lose my mind. I was a defensive. I went there to.
That's how my cousin was when he coached it.
I just wanted to be a junior high, guy and like a big get back coach on Friday. Well, that happened one year. The next year, I'm the defensive coordinator. I'm like, God, and they would score and I'd lose it. Anyway, get back to what I was saying. It's just at every sport, there's kids that can play. They just don't have the opportunities. I mean, she's done what she's done, and she can consistently shoot in the 70s when she's been practicing or whatever. She plays 1 day a week. That's it. We have a driving range at our school, and she gets to hit. But, the things that kill her, that keeps her from shooting 75 all the time, is chipping and putting because we don't have those facilities. We go to Big Spring maybe one time a week, and then, she plays a lot at our club in San Angelo. But, at the coaching school this year, they called me about speaking or being on a panel of all the state champion coaches, and I did it not because I wanted somebody to pat me on the back. I wanted to represent 1A. I'm sitting up there with Lake Travis and Vandergriff and all these, Lubbock Cooper. I'm sitting up there, and then they asked the Lake Travis guy about his day, and he's like, "Well, I get my freshman team at this time." He looked at me, I go, "I bet you have the same problem." I'm like, "No, we might get them, if they're not in ag. We're a big ag school. If they're not in ag, it's just they just don't have the opportunity. So not only am I trying to promote 1A anything, not just golf, anything. I just think people should look not at our scores, because you put our scores up against Andrews, it's not even close. But compared to what we have to our, to practice, and I just want to be an ambassador for
Sure
1A golf or 1A anything, especially 1A golf.
And I think to your point, I mean, golf's so unique. I mean, listen, if you could shoot in the 60s or 70s, I don't give a crap what level you're at.
Right. And
you're playing the same golf courses, guys.
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're turning those types of scores in, you can go.
Right.
I mean, you're a good player.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what town you live in. If you can go like that, you're awesome.
And I will say this about the Andrews coaches and the coach at Monahan's and Seminole. I made a decision to stop going to 9-hole golf courses like most six-man guys do. I said, we're not going to get any better if we're going to Eden, Texas. Nothing against that, but it's just not challenge. I mean, we get to state. We're playing big boy courses.
Right.
So if we're going to do that, let's go play big boy courses the whole time. So, the Andrews guys, I called them like, hey, can we get in your JV tournament? Oh, yeah. And then, they're smart enough to know when they see kids that can play, they can play. It doesn't matter what. And they recognize her and some, they say to me, and even like Coach Overton at Midland on now Legacy Lee, he's helped me out a ton, let me in the tournaments. They've let her into their 2-day varsity tournaments this last year. She played in 2 or 3 of those. So it's not so much the coaches around here. They recognize that kids can play. It's just the community, or even the, just the outside people that don't really know.
Right.
They see our scores like, oh, but you know what? My kids work just as hard to win that state championship as the Andrews girls. Now, I'm not comparing us to Andrews by no means, but they work just as hard with the facilities that we have. They do the best that they can. So
yeah, I mean, it's a testament to you as a coach, man, because your facilities are so limited.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, y'all are gonna have you guys to practice well.
Right.
You have to travel.
Sure.
There's certain risk assessments that go along with that as a coach and as a school. And so I'm sure you get limited as to, okay, coach, you get this many travel days to go do this or what, I don't know how it works, but my assumption would be there's some sort of thing there, right? The idea is that really you guys get max, 3 days at a driving range if you travel?
Well, luckily we have a driving range at our campus.
Oh, you have one now.
So
okay.
But
that was recent, wasn't it?
Well, when we started winning, when we started getting medal at state, I want to say we finished 5th with the boys. There's 2 dads down in the lobby of the hotel drinking Dr. Peppers and saying, "Coach, we need a driving range." I'm like, "Yeah, right. They're not going to build us a driving range. Are y'all crazy?" And I think we ended up getting 5th with the boys that year. The girls got 5th too. I think that's the year we both got 5th. That was back in the day when they played on the same day, and I was on the golf course for 18 hours and still had to drive home. But I go to vacation. They had a school board member meeting. The local sheriff in our town, his son played for me. He called me and said, "Okay, we got $25,000 to build a driving range." The lady
So cool.
owned some land behind our school. We lease it from her for $1 a year. They built us a tee box. I put the sprinkler system in it because that's what I did in college. So we get to hit every day. Just every time I ask a kid, what do we need to get better on? Tipping. Oh, coach, I putted terrible. Well, we just don't have that option. We have a little cruddy little green that we can putt on, and it's fine. I'm appreciative of it, but it's nothing like putting on a real green. So,
right.
But then they want to well, we need a real green. I'm like, who's taking care of that? I mow the driving range and pick up balls every morning as it is. I can't mow a green also. So our administration has done a great job to give us the facilities that we need to get better, but it's still not like playing. You have to play.
Well, I mean, I guess where I'm going with that is, right? This is a hot take. I could get in trouble. I'm saying it. It's interesting to me because state of Texas, the school, whatever that is, they have all these different schools. A lot of them are here in Midland, Odessa, funny enough, that they take money from.
The Robin Hood program.
And Monahans is a big one.
Yeah, we're a huge
buddy of mine was telling me that.
Yes.
So if you have money around you in the town from oil and gas or whatever, guess what? Your money's getting stripped.
Yep.
And you're going to operate in a deficit.
Yep.
So that these other clowns can get money that, are overcrowded or, they haven't built schools in those cities or whatever yet, or they can contribute to Title IX or whatever it is. What would it look like if we took state championship winning programs that are, for all intents and purposes are practicing on substandard facilities? And by the way, I'm throwing zero shade at Andrews for this. It is incredible what that community has done. And this is a great example of what I'm saying, because Andrews just took it into their own hands and they've built these unbelievable facilities, these practice facilities. Well, you can see the fruit of that.
Yeah, sure.
They create great golf programs year in and year out, state championship winning programs year in and year out, 19 of them. We gave them 20.
Yeah.
They got 20. Right, Kana? We gave them 20.
They got 20.
All right. So they have 20. They really have 19, but
We're going to edit Wikipedia to give them 20.
yeah, that's right. Thank you. But my point is that's a distinct competitive advantage.
Sure.
Okay. Now, again, that was done on their accord, and I applaud them for it. And I am in no way, shape, or form saying Andrews needs to give you guys the stuff. But I'm saying if they're going to steal the money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This should be something that's important, right? In other words, you guys should be able to apply for some sort of sport grant or, facilities grant. And by the way, you can upgrade the school or you can create a driving range or a putting green or what have you, whatever it is that you need to succeed. But what would that look like for the football program? What would that look like for basketball? There's a lot of opportunity there where some of the 1A schools, quite frankly, are just in smaller rural towns. And unless y'all have got a great, a great community around you of people that make a lot of money and are okay with donating it, and like that sweet lady that donated her land for $1, I mean, that's awesome.
Right.
But if you don't have that, guess what? You ain't playing.
But what I feel is we are the Andrews of 1A golf because we have a driving range. When we have track meets, and I have coaches all the time. Coach, how did y'all do this? Well, what did y'all? We kind of are the Andrews of, because
this is why this conversation's so important, because you were a huge part of making that happen.
Right.
But so was success.
Sure.
Right.
And it goes hand in hand because we always had the passion, but we started having success when we got that. There was no junior high golf and no, we didn't play fall golf when I got there. When I said, look, I'm done coaching football. I don't want to coach football anymore. I became the technology director, so I didn't have time. But we started playing fall golf because I had 4 girls, 5 boys sitting over here doing nothing till golf season. So who told me that? The Andrews coaches told me that.
Yep.
I picked their brains. What do I got to do to get better?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, junior high golf, play fall golf. That's what we did. So that's how we built it. And I'm proud of what we built. And I'm proud of, that people look at us and say, man, at the 1A level, like, oh man, because on the girls' side, we're in the toughest district in the state of Texas. It's not even close. The past, I think 6, I could be wrong. I might have to get Wikipedia on this one, but
Connor's got it. Connor, prepare.
Past 6 state champions have been won in 1A girls golf has come out of our district. Now, one year we wasn't in the district. We were in Region 1 and played regionals at Line or Reese. But when you look at those teams that are so good, us, Robert Lee, and Very Best, Robert Lee has their own golf course. We have the best 1A golf facilities in the state of Texas. Very Best is a hop, skip, and a jump to quicksand in San Angelo. So they have the opportunity to play. and it shows. I mean, when you have the facilities to do that, and some of these, I feel sorry for some of these teams we play because they just don't have it. They just don't have what we have to. And you know, other coaches like, God, coach, your kids hit the ball so well. And yeah, they hit 200 balls a day.
I got to ask a fair question. Do you think that's because some of those teams perhaps don't have administration or, you know, even maybe interest from parents and kids in the community or what have you? Do you think maybe some of that is that they just don't even care about golf? Or is it just because, hey, man, I know there's kids that want to play. It's because they don't have facilities.
Well, I say it all the time. It's a double-edged sword on me being the golf coach because I don't do anything else. I'm a golf junkie. And again, you see me swing a golf club. I'm terrible, but I'm a golf junkie. And those other coaches at other schools are doing baseball, track, and golf. And I'm just here doing golf. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword with my AD because I do just do golf. And so I want things for my golf team. And and I get it. I mean, they don't hardly ever do I get told no if I want something, but you know, it's just the fact that I don't do anything else. So,
yeah.
So they not pawn golf. They gave golf to me because they don't want to, you know, they want to go coach a track team, which is great. But then they also have to put up with saying, hey, how come we don't, I want to do, well, the track team did that. You know, I'm fighting for my program the way they fight for theirs. And so let her go, oh, Wood's mad again about something. You know? but I just feel like, you know, we should get, and we do, for the most part, we do. I mean, I have no qualms with administration or my AD. I mean, but my AD's also heard me say, hey, coach, hey, you know, I have kids, coach, I want to play golf this year. Okay, but you're not quitting track. You're going to run track. You know, you went to state and track. You can play. You're going to have to come after track. So he knows I'm not over there picking kids off from, because really we've done it with girls that, and boys for that matter, that didn't really, you know, like, oh man, I'm not playing football. I don't want to. Well, come play golf. There's nobody playing defense, you know, on golf. It's you and the golf course. That's it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just feel like I said, we are the Andrews of the 1A golf world because we do have the facilities we have. So
that's incredible. Now I do want to say one thing. It's a great opportunity. This episode is sponsored by the new GT driver from Titleist.
Is mine
David? Oh my gosh, dude. I think we gained 20.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, it was great to go back and listen to the podcast.
20 yards.
Of y'all talking to the Titleist rep and I think, well, he wasn't filling me full of bull.
Yeah.
It actually does what it
It's
says.
legit, man. Yeah.
I was hoping I was coming and it was going to be here. And
it was almost. We were so close. So I got my components in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not get my left-handed 10-degree GT2. I got my 9-degree GT. I almost screwed up. I almost texted you like, it's here. Because we are just, we got in 20-ish, and I think we have 3 left in 2 days.
Box 4 were gone.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
So yeah, we're excited. But we saw some great gains from you on that.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It was incredible, man.
Sure.
Now, that kind of brings up a good point. You have older pings that you love.
Love them.
You had an older Titleist driver
Yes.
Titleist driver.
Mm.
That's right.
That I loved at one time.
Yeah, he used to love it. It was not good.
No.
Something, we you know what? And if your wife's going to watch this, this driver was broken. It was cracked. It was time.
Yeah.
And we got a great deal, and it was time.
Yeah.
But what do you think from an equipment perspective? How important is it for your kiddos to have good equipment, good tools?
Starting out,
Mhm.
just whatever. Just get a club in there. When they can
Get them playing.
Yeah, when they can consistently hit the ball in the air and not swing and miss, because I mean, that's what we start with.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so yeah, once they get past that, then they need to come get fitted. Would be what I would prefer, but at least some decent name brand clubs,
Yeah.
or whatever, preferably get fitted. It helped her. I mean, she could probably, I feel like I monopolize this thing here, but she hasn't got to talk any. But so yeah, without a doubt, we had a little girl. She graduated last year, named Shelby. She literally just bought some used clubs, but they were well made, something that's going to help her get the ball in the air. And she went from shooting, in the hundreds to, 91, 92. She broke into the 80s a few times. And so, yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I want this known because I think it's a big problem. And I'm glad to hear you say that because you're exactly right. If you don't have clubs and you want to play golf, just get clubs. Now, what we don't want is if you're 10 years old for you to have standard men's length, extra stiff shafts or something, right? So here's what I'm saying. I know there's a lot of kiddos out there and parents out there, parents that maybe just can't afford to get clubs. They see the game as an expensive game, so on and so forth. And certainly at the high level, right, at the premium level, it is more of an expensive hobby, for sure. But it's also a very affordable hobby. Why? Because we're going to make it that way. We're committed to that. Yeah. And we're committed to your children. And we want to make sure that if there's a kid out there that needs clubs to get started in this game, we will help you with that. 100%. If I got to put it together myself out of components that I have in the back, we'll give them to you. Just get up here and talk to me and let's get your kids playing the game. I don't care what level you're at. If you're at, if you're at TAPS level, if you're at the 1A level, the 2A level, it doesn't matter. Just get them playing because I think that you can attest to this. And Riley, I know you do a lot of other things as well with cheerleading, and I know you've played some other sports, but how great is golf? You can play it forever.
Right.
Cheerleading, I mean, once we get past that Dallas Cowboy level, right?
Okay.
I'm a former Cowboy fan, by the way. I'm not a Cowboy fan anymore. Even though I did watch Hard Knocks, they almost got me back.
Guess who'll be watching the Cowboys game Sunday?
I'm not a fan anymore. They're dead to me. But once you get past that, Cowboy cheerleader level, that's it. Mm-hmm. You're done. And to get to that level, I mean, I think they have 2 or 3, according to Hard Knocks, they have a couple of different levels.
Right.
They have like a little dance team they have, and they got a height team they have. And then if you're really good and you want to get yelled at and be told that you're too fat and stuff like this, then you can be on the,
it's crazy.
They are so brutal to some of them. And I'm like,
change their hair. And
she was like, you really need to lose weight in your tummy. And I was like, that girl can hula hoop through a Cheerio. And this lady's telling her, like, and by the way, you're no prize pig sitting here telling her to lose weight. I mean, what are you kidding me? That was a soapbox. You see what happened? Soapbox. That's what happens. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I think golf is a game that's something you can play forever. It's generational as well.
Right.
And it leads me to a question for you. Did you get in the game solely because you were chasing your sister, or did your dad help you along in that process too? Were you kind of chasing him, so to speak, or did you do this to make him proud in some way, shape, or form? Like, what really brought you to it?
It's really been in my life. I mean, I've had a club in my hand since I was 3, hitting a ball in the front yard.
Okay, so that's partly his fault. Okay,
yes.
Good.
But
that's
I also
great.
grew up watching my sister and going to tournaments and lessons, and so that helps. I don't know. I kind of all of it.
Yeah.
Him being the coach. I mean,
how many years is between you and your sister?
5.
5 years.
Yes.
My daughters are only 2 years.
No.
They fight like crazy.
Hey, let them be 5 years and see how much they fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's crazy.
But do you just love her so much?
Sometimes. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
You better say yes. She's getting married a week from today. So
hey, congratulations. That's awesome. But okay, so you were chasing her, and you saw her success.
Right.
So I'm going back now. We're here. It is full circle. Okay. Did any of that emotion at the state tournament that could have been lacking for you, right? Was she there when you won?
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't any part of you that was like,
Oh, absolutely.
okay. Did you let her know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've been sitting here wondering about it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, surely she gave her a little bit.
Yep.
That's
Siblings.
awesome. Well, yeah, I mean,
Well, you talk about emotions. We're coming in. I've already talked to her because on about 16 or 17, I knew we were going to win. I knew as a team we were going to win.
Right.
And she just kind of the home stretch. She just didn't play well, and we thought. I thought too that she's not going to win it. Someone's going to catch her or someone's going to get her. And so, we're driving on. They did live scoring. So the mom and the boyfriend are in the car and said, "Hey, he needs to par this hole. If she pars this hole, he's still in this." And they said, "Do we need to tell her?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. We're not telling her that. You don't think she's going to try to?" Well, mom makes an executive decision, and then they drive by and think, "You need to par this hole." Just kept driving. Like, that's breaking the rules. First of all, you shouldn't do that. So she does.
Did that help?
Oh yeah. I thought I was done.
That's so sick.
I get down to the green and my AD sitting there.
Now, why did you not want to tell her? I think this is interesting. You're saying, yeah, I'm glad they did because it really helped me. Why didn't you want her to?
Because when she was younger, being the butt that I am, we would play in Northern Texas or West Texas. And, when she's just playing 9 holes, I say, "Hey, if you make this, you're going to break 50 for the first time." And every time she'd miss it. Every time she would miss it.
Would she turn and look at you and be like,
Yeah,
Every
and we kind of knew she was going to win the tournament because back in those days, there was only like 3 of them and they were all playing together.
you know what I'm hearing here? I'll tell you what I'm hearing. It's not what was said.
It's not the info. It's the deliver.
Yeah, it's who maybe delivered that, right? If coach comes up and says it, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna.
But I think that's
triple
I
here,
think that's where it's kind of dynamic is that he's coach and dad.
Yeah.
So there's no separation there.
Yeah.
She gets to decide. Well, is this dad telling me or is this coach telling me?
But I think from his perspective, he was right. I think if you if you would have said something, it would have been problematic.
Sure.
Right.
I totally
Aside
agree.
from breaking the rules and all that, whatever.
I totally agree. Yes.
The stupidest rule ever, by the way. But aside from breaking the rule, right? But bro.
Well, when they said she's still in this, I'm thinking to just get a medal.
Oh, so you didn't know
I
either?
had no idea.
Oh, wow.
I thought we're fighting for third or second.
Sure.
And so the reason I'm telling you this, you talk about emotions. We get down there and my AD sitting there, and I'm like, and there's everybody around the 18th green. I was like, man, that sucks. We're done. She's like, she pars this hole. She's tied. I'm like, what? That's why the Grady coaches are sitting over there. They're waiting to see what she shot because their girl shot in 81 or 80 that day.
Yeah.
She shot 81. They tied. So, we get done and I'm thinking, okay, playoff. And they're like, nope, we're not doing playoffs. And so I start doing the math in my head and I looked up on the app and I'm like, okay, 9 holes are tied. 6 holes, 3 over to her 6 over. We won. So we get up to there and I'm still not convinced that she won it. But when finally they put it up there, I'm sprinting to the woods because nobody needs to see a fat guy cry. And I cried like a baby. Cried like a baby. And I finally get my composure and I come back and I'm a crier. Nearly every sports venue we have, I cry because, my daughter gets the MVP, every year that I give it to the team when they win state. I give it to everybody. And my AD said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, I had to go have a moment." He said, "Wood, we know you're a crier. You don't have to go out there." I said, "Yeah, but these other people don't know that I'm a crier." So they got pictures of me out there bawling my eyes out because of just the work that she had put in and the stuff that she had done to get there. She was walking out of the house at 8:00 at night. Where are you going? I'm going to go hit balls. I'm like, we hit balls already in practice. Why would we hit more? So, the emotions. And again, at the tournament, everything that Andrew's girls did, I think when you get home though, and you got to go to school next day, and everybody's happy for you, and everybody says congratulations. But after that day, you're just back in English class, and it's it's just okay. Well, that was fun. Let's just go back to the life.
So Riley, did you know he did that?
I did.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts there?
I don't really know.
What's interesting is there's that dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where y'all are going to drive each other nuts because
Right.
you are, father-daughter. But there's such a beauty in that,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where, when you're a mother one day, hopefully your child gets to experience that same thing.
Right.
Because that's just pure unadulterated love, number one. Two, just completely just so proud of you.
Mhm.
And he pushes you hard,
Right.
which is awesome too, because it's character building. And there's, at times he feels like, I think, he said it a minute ago that sometimes, hey, I'm a little maybe too pushy or whatever you said.
For sure.
However you said it. And certainly I know that in moments you probably feel that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in totality, what's your side of this story? What do you think in terms of that relationship and what it's meant for your game and more importantly, just for your success as you move forward?
He's definitely pushed me
Yeah.
for sure.
To breaking points.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had meltdowns on the driving range, and I'll call him like, I need help. I need.
Is
to
he
figure
your
this
first
out.
thought?
Oh yeah.
You see where I'm going with that? Be like, there's this awesome part of it where, so many times we just remember the frustrating parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the game of golf is like this, right? Sometimes we can't forget the bad hole
Yeah.
and focus on what's in front of us and the actual goal that we have. We lose sight of that. Tell me what your emotion was on 18. What were you on 18T, I'm guessing, when the drive-by happened?
Yes.
What were your emotions when you heard that?
I was nervous.
Insta nerves.
Yes.
Okay. You put the peg in the ground. You
Mhm.
set up to it.
Right.
What are you feeling then?
Don't go out of bounds.
You had a don't thought.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I figured you went, you know?
I think that happened when she got on the green.
Okay. So
Yeah.
once you got to the green,
Yeah, 'cause
I need to make this.
it's
Right.
a par 5, second shot, third shot is over a canyon. And I think once she got on the green, that's when, and she missed the birdie putt, but she left herself just a tap in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I also didn't know what the par was for.
Yeah.
So
You just knew you
I
needed
was
to make
like,
one.
right. I didn't know if that was for medal or to win. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
So what if
Or-
they would have said you need to make birdie?
Oh,
I'd have killed him. I'd have strangled him.
Yeah.
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 I would have strangled him.
that would have been a lot
Yeah.
harder.
Because then she would have
Yeah.
done something
Yeah.
that's out of the realm of what she can.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, she can par 5s every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
I think that's an interesting thought. And I mean, again, if you're out there and you're giving advice to kiddos when they're playing and so on, and, you know, as parents, you're going to feel that really that need, right? Because you want so badly for them to succeed and get what they want,
Right.
right? It's not for a personal glory of any semblance, right? It's because we want y'all to succeed, but you got to keep it in the rails. If you make it bigger, sometimes that can cause a crumble, right?
Right.
It puts your mindset as a player just in the wrong mode.
Mhm.
And for you, it's interesting because you said you were immediately nervous. So if they would have said birdie, what do you think your brain would have done? Exploded?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially on that course. That was a
Yeah,
tough course.
And
Really? So it was really
Oh,
tight or
it's-
what?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. I mean,
Was it short though, or was it
is-
moderately long?
It is short. But
Yeah.
Okay, so it's shorter, but it's really tight.
Oh yeah.
really,
There's trouble everywhere.
Wow.
You have to hit a spot.
So on 18, was this in-course OB, which is my least favorite thing on earth, or was it a boundary line, like a fence line or something?
no, it was in.
It was an in-course OB.
Mhm.
That's the worst thing ever.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Open up the golf course.
Sorry, it just is. We had one at Powder Creek, and listen, we had to do it for safety. Kinda. I mean, we could have moved the box up about 15 yards, and it still would have been a mighty par 4. But it would have at least given people the ability to try to hit it over the creek. I mean, hey, man, that's risk reward. You hit it bad, it's not a good result. But I hate in-course OB.
Just make it a hazard. Red stake it.
Why? It's part of the golf course.
No, that's
You
what
see
I'm saying. Yeah,
saying?
instead of an OB, make it a red stake. If that's
Yeah.
what you're worried about, just make it a red stake.
Okay, I'm saying yes. If
But you're
it's for
saying-
safety,
Yeah.
sure, right?
But just remove it if it's not a safety
Yeah, I
issue.
mean it's the golf course.
Let them play. Hogan
Right.
National. Let's go.
Well, that's a great example out at Hogan on Quail. There's so many holes that are like just right there together, you know.
Yeah.
And in lieu of the fact that we have a best buddy who lost his eye, unfortunately, that was less of an issue with somebody just banging it, way off the mark, and more of an idiot just being impatient. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that literally every day there's 200 plus rounds on that golf course, and there's never any issues.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in course, out of bounds. Here's what I would say about it. You'd be very hard pressed to convince me with a sound argument of any kind. I cannot think of a single scenario where it makes any sense.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. If you're so worried about it, red stake it.
Yeah.
Let them play their ball out of there at least.
Yeah. Plus, it would have really helped my girl not be so
Well, it's
I
actually
mean, she,
bomb.
let's be fair though. She did what she had to do.
100%.
I actually thought
100%.
I did go out of bounds
Yeah.
on my drive. I hit
Holy
it
crap.
down the right side.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't see it. And so walking to my ball, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way. I just hit this out of bounds.
Oh crap! So you
I
were thinking
was-
you're about to hike back.
Yeah, I was about
Tall grass. For whatever reason, they had it.
6 feet from being out of bounds.
They had it roped off, like you
Yeah.
couldn't drive in there. And it was tall. I mean, it was tall. Well,
Somebody wanted you to win stake, girl.
I'll tell you the other thing that really made me proud of her after the fact, because this little girl from Grady is a really good player too.
Yeah.
I mean, that she, it's going to be tough next year. I mean, it is. I mean, there's that girl and the girl.
Is she a senior as well?
She is.
She'll be a junior.
A junior.
Mhm.
And so, she's really good, and it was unfortunate that again, I tell people we're not going to give it back, but it's unfortunate that they didn't get to play that. They didn't
Yeah.
get to go to the court
For
and play
sure.
that. And so, one of the things that made me proud that I'm doing something right as a dad, not a golf coach, just a dad, is that she sent a message to that girl and said, "That's not fair. That wasn't fair to you."
Yeah.
And so, as proud as I was her for winning state, the fact that she sent that message to that girl, like that we should have got to play.
Yeah. Well, and to your
we're
point,
not
man.
giving it back, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, but there's always this year.
yeah, and it's gonna be tough. I guarantee.
There's really not always this year because they gonna have a problem, aren't they? To your point, David, and I mean this with every fiber of my being. Riley is so precious, number one, but such a high character young lady, and just has an amazing attitude. Just this
Yeah.
amazing aura around her when she's around people. You're shy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You're a little shy, but
She gets that from her mother. Not
That's
me,
okay.
not me.
that's there's such a beauty in just how confident you can be as far as your game goes,
Mhm.
but also how humble you are. You're an amazing human, and it's just a pleasure that I got to meet you and to get to know you. It's been awesome watching you grow, and honestly, just watching you reach that goal. Now, I mentioned one thing earlier, and see what you think about this. I don't know. Have y'all watched the Netflix special with Urban Meyer about Florida?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
Since, I figured you probably
Right.
did if you're a football guy.
Right.
But there's this interesting thing, and I mean, it resonated with me big time. But Urban talked about how much he would feel when they didn't win the national championship, essentially, right?
Right.
Like, he really felt those losses. I mean, to his core. And I would even tell you that, like, in my own personal life, right, that's wins. So many times I just don't stop, smell the roses, and enjoy them.
Mhm.
The losses are where I really get the feels, right? So sometimes that's a very negative thing for me. I'm curious if, kind of, it's interesting, David, what you said about it. And Riley, I'm wondering if this was kind of the same for you. Was it kind of an Urban Meyer effect in the sense that, A, I accomplished my goal. B, that's what I expected, right? Because
Right.
that was my goal. So my
Mhm.
expectation was that I was going to meet my goal. And then C, it's over now, back to work.
Oh yeah.
Can't enjoy this, got to get back to work.
Oh yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yes.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay. So that's more of what you were alluding to when you said, yeah, I mean, it was cool,
Yeah.
but I guess where I'm going with this is when you win this year, do you think it'll be the same, or do you think this one would be way more special?
I don't know.
Yeah. You're just going to have to wait for the moment.
Going back to back would be cool,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I still have to go back. I don't know if that excitement would be there.
Yeah.
It's not. Yes, it'd be great, but it's also not the first time. It's not.
And by
I've
would be great.
experienced before.
Yeah. So by would be great, you obviously mean will be great.
Right.
It will be great when that happens.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And from an emotional standpoint, I think that's honestly a really good way to think about it.
Mhm.
Of, you know what? Let me get to that moment first
Right.
and let's see. But I just think it's fascinating with Urban because so much of what he deals with is more from that competitiveness, right?
Mhm.
Would you call yourself a super competitive person?
Yes.
So
In
you're
golf,
like this
yes.
silent assassin, right?
Sure.
You're like this shy little quiet
Mm-hmm.
assassin.
Let me say this: she's like that until she's not playing well. Because even on the range when we're out there, if she's not hitting the ball well, everybody in Glasscock County knows everybody knows her middle name because it's Riley Page Wood. What are you doing? Constantly.
I haven't seen this.
She came home from the state tournament and her leg is bruised from her slapping her leg. I have a little buddy I have a buddy that coaches Carter City, and one of her girls like, man, she's scary. Like, did you see her hitting herself? And so she is very silent. Like, and I ask her all the time, and she doesn't see it. But I'm an egomaniac, but she doesn't see, like, sometimes when she walks into somewhere and I'm kind of walking behind her, you can see kids going,
Yeah.
and she doesn't see it because her brain doesn't work like mine. And that's just not like, I'm Riley Wood, but that happens. It happens quite a bit. Like people or when they see that they have to play with Riley Wood, they're like, oh, little girl from Borden County, they won regional, and she's like, I can't believe I have to play with her again.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't want to do this, Coach Wood. And I was like, BK, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's just Riley.
Yeah.
I know, but so that part of it, I don't think she feeds off that the way I do.
Sure.
When we park our bus, when I get off that bus, I'm full of pride. Like, we're here, and we're yeah, exactly. That's the way my mind works.
Yeah.
And I don't try to be arrogant, but I just want people to know that gardening, we're here. Like, but
Yeah.
that's the football coaching.
Yeah. Well, that's also,
when
as a
you get off
leader,
that-
that's important.
Right.
If you're not confident, they won't be.
Right.
Right.
For
So,
sure. But she does, her brain doesn't work like mine.
Well, by the way, you're exactly right. I mean, there's not a high school girl one that I've mentioned your name to. And by the way, if I'm fitting any of the high school girls, I mean, I'm mentioning your name 9 times out of 10. They all know who you are. Every one of them.
Yeah, that's what
I mean,
that's what, but she doesn't care. Like,
yeah.
she doesn't. I mean, obviously, she loves Emmy and she loves Zoe and all those Andrews girls. All those girls that have helped her, but that's not what. I could be speaking out of turn, but I don't think that she doesn't care. I mean, like she doesn't. That's not
her motivation. Yeah.
Right. I'm very competitive with myself, though.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Like before a tournament, I have a goal of what I want to shoot, and whether I win it by 10, if I don't meet my goal,
and you're not satisfied. No. So what does that look like for you?
That's interesting.
I just on the 1A level, there's some tournaments there's not a ton of competition.
Sure.
Depending on the tournament, and so I kind of have to get better. I have to compete with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I will always have a goal of what I want to shoot.
And I think that's part of the back to what you were talking about with why it just wasn't what she thought it was. And again, at the tournament, it's crying and all that business. But, you know,
you can hear it in what she said in the description of her final round.
Right. I mean, yeah, when on the golf course,
she had an expectation, and I don't know that you met it on that back nine.
She's never had the failure of losing, like things that she expected to win. She's always won. Like we didn't go in as a freshman thinking she was going to win it. She was a freshman. Well, she got 4th. Well, we're hoping for top 10. She got 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go the next year and we just wanted to medal, and we get in the playoffs. She won the playoff. And then, this year we, obviously won. So she's never, when we go to the Andrews tournaments and these varsity tournaments, she's not expecting to win that. Obviously Emmy and all them are there, and there's really good players there so she's never really felt.
Is that true? You're not expecting to win when you go there?
I honestly, no. I have my goal.
Yeah.
And win or not, I want to meet my goal.
The best player I ever knew, his name was Josh Duckworth, and he was my dearest friend back home through high school. And then he went on to play at WT. Well, first he went to Cameron University and then transferred back to WT. And we roomed together. And he won 2 collegiate events. And dude, Josh was a phenom ever since. I mean, I can still remember the first time I ever saw Josh. I had just started golf and I was like 17 and I'm playing with my friend Trent Terrell at Comanche, and Josh was playing in front of us. And Trent tells me in the middle of the fairway, I'm of course over in the weeds, and Trent's right in the middle of the fairway. He was a good player too. And he goes, dude, that's Josh Duckworth up ahead of us. And I was like, cool. Who's that? And he was like, dude, seriously, he chips and putts it better than any human I've ever seen. And I kid you not, he was just off the left side of the green complex on number 6, and he chipped it in for birdie. And Trent goes, see what I mean? And I was like, I want to know that guy, because I thought in my brain, if I could beat him, I could beat anybody, right? So I eventually got that relationship with him, and it was super competitive, and I wanted to punch him so many times because he would just beat the brakes off of me every time we played. And it was so funny. At the end of every round, he'd take his hat off and he'd go, 77, good round, buddy. And he would shoot 68 or something, right? He was super good. And I remember so much of how I learned to play is because of Josh. And his father was like a second dad to me. I worked for Rod for a long time. But Josh would always tell me 2 things that I've never forgotten in my entire life. The first one's kind of funny because I had this real unorthodox John Daly-esque type move at it, and it was super aggressive because I just didn't know any better. And I would either slice the crap out of it when I missed, but there was times that I would miss it. And Josh was never privy to those misses, but it was very much something that stuck in my head. It was something that it was embarrassing. I didn't want to do that in front of people. And he would always tell me, don't forget to hit it. So when I'd get around him, I'd try to guide it around.
Right.
And he would just tell me, hey bro, don't forget to hit it. Smash it. Like when you're trying to guide it, it's no good. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, and we had big debates about this. I'm curious where your mind is on this. I think I know now that I've heard you, but he would always say, man, it's you versus the golf course. And you don't need to be worried about what everybody else is doing. You need to control what you're doing. Don't look at your scorecard. Don't worry about what I'm shooting. Play your game. And if you'll do it to the best of your ability, you're going to look up and you're going to beat me, bro. That's how this works. And I was like, no way, man. Because I grew up playing football and my primary sport was basketball. So you line up against me. I mean, we finna ball out and beat you. That's just how it's going to go.
Right.
But it was very much about the other person across from me. And in golf, I would do that. I mean, honestly, if me and you were going to go play in more of a competitive environment, I mean,
Right.
I would have zero expectation to beat you now. But what would be in my brain is I'm going to beat you.
Right.
Not I'm going to go out here and just play golf and play my game. And Josh argued with me and said, no, bro, you cannot look. And honestly, to this day, I can't wrap my head around that. But what you're saying is, no, Josh is right.
Mm-hmm.
You set kind of your goal. You're playing against you,
Right.
even if Emmy's in your group. You're not
Oh,
even
yeah.
thinking about beating her.
No.
Interesting.
Well,
So does your goal line up with what you think she might shoot?
It's more of what I think I can shoot.
Okay.
I think I get so focused on trying to match up with them, and then I start doing dumb things. And so if I just shoot my score
Yeah.
and play the best that I can, then if I win, I win. Like,
Yeah. So shoot this at me because I'm just
Okay.
curious, right? You're about to head into a tournament against Andrews at Andrews.
okay,
What's your score that you're thinking?
80.
Okay. Now, honestly, and I'm curious, do you think that limits you at all? Because I mean, obviously you're capable of shooting even.
Right. I like to give myself some wiggle room.
So that you're giving yourself
Oh,
cushion. Okay.
If I feel like if I give myself say I'm gonna shoot even today, like then if I don't, I'm gonna freak out because I'm not.
Yeah.
So I give myself some.
So you
wiggle
give
room.
yourself a reasonable worst case scenario of 80.
Right.
And then so if you make a couple bugs that you shouldn't have, you can give yourself some grace in those moments.
Right.
Because you know it's not the end of the world. You can still hit your goal.
Yeah.
That's actually brilliant.
It's genius.
That actually makes, you know what? Josh, if you're watching this one, I love you. And I'm sorry it took me 20 some odd years to finally agree with you. But Riley Wood made me agree with you now. That makes sense now. That I can subscribe to.
I'll say this. She's exactly right. That's what she does. But I will say this. When she gets off the golf course and she has shot her number or under her number, and she realizes if I'd have just shot 2 strokes better, I'd have beat that girl.
Yeah.
Then, here, God, man, did you shoot what you wanted to shoot? Yes. Okay. And that's what you. So
Yeah.
I think
on the
that-
course,
I think that's the ebb and flow of it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she shot her number, she accomplished her goal, but then the competitiveness kicks in. She's like, okay, well, I can do better.
Right.
for sure.
It's
Yeah.
the ebb and flow.
She's okay. You ready for this? This is profound. She got into it chasing her sister, chased her dad a little bit because he's a golf nerd, as he said. She's chased other, competitors, but the number one that she's chasing
Herself.
is her.
Sure.
That's huge.
She's chasing herself.
What a great mindset.
Yeah.
I've honestly never looked at it through that lens, and that is so brilliant because you're always chasing you. And if you go back and I guarantee you, Connor could probably look it up. I don't know that we need to, but I'm 99% sure I'm correct when I say this. Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods both chased themselves, right?
Right.
Because if you keep beating that person, then
You're beating the best.
yeah,
And again, I think she has to do that.
eventually you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what she said, she has to kind of do that sometimes because we do go to some smaller tournaments. No offense, but the competition's not. So she has to have those, and that's just carried over to, and that's since she's been a freshman. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she won tournaments as a freshman. First of all, I host 3 tournaments a year because I can't find places for my kids to play. But yeah, she would do that because, I mean, it sounds terrible. She knows she's going to win. If the Grady girl's not there and, this other, we know we're going to win. I mean, it's just, we used to be in a district. There was 2 teams, us and Borden County. Well, that was,
You knew who the competition
yeah,
was.
I mean,
Yeah.
and every coach
Yeah.
there says, I wanted to play 2 days. Every other coach wanted to play 1 because they're like, coach, this is dumb. We know who's going to win, So, but I think she had to do that as a way to
get
motivate
better.
herself.
Yeah. Well, that leads right into my next question about that concept. Is that true for you in every aspect of life, whether it's other sports, other activities, school, or is it just unique to golf? David's
I'd
shaking his head over
They
there.
just golf.
Yeah, he's like, no, she doesn't do that in school.
Yeah, no. Me and school aren't friends.
Yeah. Well, I think to the point here, right?
Mhm.
Why are you in school not friends? Well, you're probably doing subjects that are like, need a challenge here, right? This is boring me to tears or, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think the beauty in this is you're young. So as you continue to get older and you get through college and then, the workforce and so on, holy cow, that mindset right there of you always chasing yourself, that'll make you great in the workplace. That'll make you great. You're always chasing the old you, if that
Right.
makes sense. Like you're always trying to surpass the
Mhm.
the next goal.
Yeah. And so I
Bro.
Genius.
I totally agree with everything that you're saying because my life, the reason I do what I do, the reason I'm a football coach, golf coach, whatever, I was on an 0-10 football team my senior year. And I've tried to live that down my whole entire life. It's crazy, but everything that
Live
I
it
do-
down in what respect?
Yes, I remember walking off a field in Merkel, Texas, thinking my life will never amount to anything ever because I was on an 0-10
Wow.
football team.
Yeah.
And so I got into coaching, and when I got into coaching, I'm like, I don't want to do that again. Like I don't want to be. So I'm always trying to, I guess, chase. I guess for me, it's chase my past.
Yeah.
And so whenever, I never wanted to lose
Redeem the past.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And so that's where we butt heads is if she shoots 105, that's fine as long as she's prepared herself. And if she just has a bad day, so be it. Where I get upset with her is when sometimes we don't prepare ourselves to go do the best we can because that's what I've done my whole career. Football,
So when y'all were 0-10, now I'm just like, brain's exploding. When you were 0-10, was that a feeling that you had walking off the field that you didn't do enough in terms of your preparedness? Or were you a hard worker in that time and, it was just y'all kept getting up against the teams that were better?
It's
Like,
a double. Yes, probably I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
But we were in a district where we were literally 4 kids from being 2A, and we were Abilene, Wiley, Clyde. I mean, we were
Yeah.
outmatched. But that when you're a 17-year-old kid, that doesn't cross your mind. It's just the fact that it's like having a scarlet letter on your chest saying your team was 0-10. I mean, that's crazy. So my whole career of even being head baseball coach and trying to win district championships, first time in school history at Winters, Texas. I mean, now that's my letters I wear. Now that's the things. So at 55 years old, I finally feel like in my crazy mind that people don't want to look at me as a guy that was 0-10 in football. that's the 4-time state champion coach from Garden City, and the guy that won district for the first time at Winners.
Here's
high
where
school
it's powerful,
baseball.
though, David. Neither do you.
Yeah, no,
You don't look at
for-
yourself as
for
the
sure.
0-10 guy. You look
sure.
at yourself as, hey, if you do put in the work, if you do something with all your heart,
Right.
your mind, your soul, right, and you do pour into others and so on and so forth, great fruit comes from that.
Sure.
And that's what makes you a winner,
Well, and and I wasn't the greatest athlete, so going into this, I wanted to be the coach that all the good kids get. I wanted to try to help these kids that didn't get the limelight sometime, and so even in golf practice, I'll sit back and I tell people all the time, and it's true. And people think I just do this to be humble. I'm just a bus driver. Those kids do that. I don't. You've seen my swing. They all get lessons. They all.
Yeah, I think you're very wise, though, in terms of your swing concepts and stuff.
Just
like,
because I've paid for enough of them. Yeah.
Listening to you with her in there,
Yeah.
like there's so much that and as you know, as a coach, sometimes it just takes another set of eyes or a different way of saying it that's not from you,
Right.
right? I may say the exact same thing that you said before, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
it clicks
Oh, yeah.
for versus something you said, right?
Every time I'm behind her going.
Yeah, I've seen him do that a few times.
Back to the point
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
so me and Riley are in a lot of ways. Like she gets her quietness from her mother, but just the way some parts of our brain work is that chasing. I understand what she's doing there because I truly
Yeah.
have been doing that. I've been chasing my past though, not my future.
Yeah.
And so, and like I said, now, those rings are in an underwear drawer. I don't wear those things. I don't.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't do it. Those kids did. So,
Well, your team did.
yeah, but
And I think that
Yeah,
gets
that
lost
thing.
in the game of golf sometimes. High school is very unique. So is college, but college is a little different. You're still part of this beautiful team. Now, your individual efforts are going to ultimately dictate what the success of the team is. But what's beautiful about it in the game of golf, and we actually talked to Emmy about this, what does that look like through her lens in terms of a leader? Like what steps does she take? Is she having to get on people's rear if they're not meeting the intensity and so on and so forth? And her answer was, really it comes for her. It's, very few times has she ever had to, say something negative. Most of the time it comes from a very encouraging mindset. Right. And what's really cool about, that's why we're so passionate about it, man, is it's not just you. Those girls that are quote unquote below you on your team, they're chasing you. They look up to you and their lives. They may look back with their kid one day and be like, yeah, I played high school golf. I was number 4, played for Garden City, but I'm a 2-time state champion and you should have seen our teammate Riley, man. I wish I could have played like her. She was so awesome. But what that'll do is that'll go next generational because they were part of something. They were part of a unit, part of a team. It's just an unbelievable thing, and it's just so unique to the high school game. Clinton, I think it's time that you tee it up. You tee up your question that you ask everybody. I cannot wait to hear Riley and David's answer to this.
Okay. So we kind of circle out every podcast with a question, and I'll start with you, Riley. What is your favorite moment in golf? And it can be funny, it could be wholesome, but what is your favorite moment in your whole experience with golf?
Honestly, winning the first team state championship.
Which was
And that's the one you finished second, right?
That was cool.
Why?
The team part of it was cool to see everyone working together.
Yeah.
And I think our whole team shot crazy good that year too at state. I mean, we all
we set a record second day total
And total.
for the state of Texas. I tell you something.
What I'm hearing is all your teams are gamers, Coach.
Well, and I know this.
You taught them that.
And I'm monopolizing the time here again, but we had a girl. We had 2 freshmen that I told them, like, look, one of y'all are going to have to be on the team. We're never going to take your score. And we had a situation where both of them had to be on the team. We're going to have to take one of your scores. Those girls shot 120 to 130 every tournament. Every tournament. We get to state, and one of them shoots a 105, the best she's ever shot in her life.
Wow.
And that is as important to me as her winning the state championship.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds that is true. I mean that, and me and her sitting here, but there could be 4 other girls sitting here too that maybe don't have the scores but their passion for it is just, it's unfortunate that, they can't be here or whatever, but, I want those girls to know that, that means as much to me as her winning state. Helen shooting a 105 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just going for the ride.
What a huge, just like increase in her
Absolutely.
in her abilities there. I mean,
Yeah.
she was a gamer.
Yeah. And
Now take your coach's hat off and put your dad hat on. Or let me say this different. Take your coach's visor off
yeah.
and put your dad visor on. Tell me what that same scenario. Tell me what that means as a father watching her be the leader of that squad.
It's just, and again, she doesn't lead by, she's not Emmy. And I watched that podcast. Brilliant. But I mean, I'm telling you this, I'm addicted to this. Yeah, I am. I've binge watched it, but she's not Emmy to the point that she is going to say, hey, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? But it's a small town. They can see her back up there hitting balls after we've already practiced. She loves sunsets, part of the problem. So she'll go up there and hit balls until the
Best
sunset.
time to hit.
Yeah.
And so they see that, and they see the way that she kind of carries herself. But again, it's pay it forward, because where did she get that from? Amy Darnold, Zoe,
Yeah.
the girl from Wall, Shay West. That's where she got that from.
And I
So,
think she got that from you and her mother as well. I
yeah,
really do.
I mean,
I think she got a lot of that from.
It's a
from you
crazy
guys.
dynamic of, I don't hardly talk to her, but I'll go out there when she's struggling just to check her temperature, and she'll turn and say, I don't want to talk to you right now. And I'll leave, and I'll go to the golf cart, and the mom will say, go out there and talk to her. And I'll go, I don't want to talk to you right now. So I'm like that rabbit, see, they bing, they keep shooting. I can't win. But yeah, just watching her work, playing in tournaments, and do just the way she carries herself on the golf course, and like, come on, let's go. We're going to do this. Yeah, that's, you can't even put it in words.
Yeah. It's got to fill you full of pride as a father.
And I've done it twice, because my oldest daughter was the same way. Now, she didn't have the love for golf the way that Riley did, but she was the same way. Like, she would, she just carried herself in a way. Again, her texting that girl and saying, that's not fair. We should have got to play.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
What do you think that says to her teammates, though? It's huge.
And in the bad
It's
part,
huge, the difference you make. You don't even realize it. And I'm not even asking you that, or I'm not even telling you that you should have realized it. But it's incredible what you're already doing with the other young ladies behind you. They're looking up to you. And they're wanting to be more like you in terms of your work ethic, in terms of your scores, in terms of how you carry yourself. And imagine what it looks like if one of those freshmen get to where you are as a junior and they get in that playoff. And it is unfair. Whatever. I don't think it was unfair. I think you won fair and square, and I'll go to my grave with that. But I think that gesture is beautiful. I think it's incredible. Imagine what that did for that girl. But also imagine what it does for those younger ones. It's awesome. Awesome what you're doing.
And so I also want to say that, and we've already touched on this, but I know we're about to wrap this up, but what you said about what you'll do for youth golfers, I mean, we're sitting here. That girl didn't have a wedge that you thought she needed. You gave her a wedge.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I want people to know, and I don't think that you don't walk in here thinking you're going to give them stuff, but you don't even know how much that you helped her, you know, coming here and saying the things that you said to her. You know, we won't even talk about when I came and got fitted, what happened, but I don't think you're trying to make money off the backs of youth kids. And so, I mean, part of the reason I want to come here is just to tell you, thank you for what you did. It was a light bulb. It changed when you stopped her and said, you don't even know how good you are. And then just hey, she has a 60-degree wedge and a 54, or I don't know what it is, or 52. She needs a 58. I'm like, well, okay, we'll get one. You handed us a 58. We walked out with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, that's part of the reason we want to come here, and just to say thanks for what you've done, you know, for our confidence, and just, yeah, come here.
Well, it's been an absolute honor and privilege to deal with you guys. And I can honestly say that I love you dearly, and I just hope the best for you for the remainder of your golf career, but beyond. I'll always be rooting for you no matter what. My favorite session, just as a side note, was that wedge session we had.
Yeah.
When you remember, because you were like, I'm a terrible wedge player. You know, I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way you are. And remember, you just started knocking the pin over. And I was like, I don't even think that I'd really even said anything. Right? Like, you just started doing it. And it was awesome.
And now that probably part of the best part of our game now.
Yeah.
But that, and we bought a driver that hits 15 yards further. She hits a lot more wedges. You know?
Yeah, that
So,
helps. That helps when
For
you
sure.
can, you know,
she's
do that.
hitting a lot more than she is that 8-iron now.
So what's your favorite golf moment of all time?
Obviously, you know, her winning state, but my favorite golf moment is hold on here. I'm crying. My favorite golf moment is putting my two daughters in golf carts and just going to Bentwood and play.
Yeah.
It's the, you know, we're going through a little rough time of, hey, Riley, it's time to go. Let's go. And Dad, I'm not ready. I'm burnt out, you know. And so, you know, I've told my wife that there is nothing on this earth that is more special to me than watching my daughters hit golf balls. That's it. There's nothing. There's not even a close second. Winning, great. I love it. But not just going out and hitting golf balls or watching my daughter hit a golf ball. I mean, you know, me usually in the other cart with my friend just going, I mean, why does she not want to do this every day?
Yeah.
I mean, if I could do what she does, I would do it every day.
Sure.
You know? But, well, I have cheerleading and I have this. I'm like, I mean, you know, I got to go feed my goat, my sheep, or whatever she chose. But I just don't. Yeah, we're sheep showers too. So there used to be rabbit showers.
Well,
Dad,
I don't know.
yeah,
We call
We're in
it
Garden City.
God
But
dang sheep.
that's it. I mean, obviously all the winning, that's great. Those rings are an underwear drawer. I mean, I wear it. I joke around all the time about I wear it just to show the track coaches he's boss. That's not true. I love the track coaches and they're very good to us, but it's just a little dig I take at them. But yeah, it's just when it's me, her, or me and Logan, the older daughter, when she was playing, just out there playing. And so that's where, you know, that's where the pull comes from is, you know, she is involved in a lot of stuff. And I'm like, you know, I just want to go play golf with Riley. You know, that's my the greatest part of being the dad and the coach of her. Just playing, just watching her do what she can do, and me going, how does she do that? I don't know how she does that.
I gotta ask Riley. I mean, Is that how it started for you? Was
Yeah.
just wanting to be out there with dad and having fun playing and so
Mhm.
on. That's so cool.
That and
Yep.
chasing sister. all over
Chasing
out there.
sister.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
But the family aspect of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
right? Like,
We're golf family.
you're doing it right,
yeah.
my man. You
I
got
hope.
2 great daughters. And
I hope. Sometimes I think that people think I'm not doing it right, but if they'll turn out to be the humans that I think they're going to be, then this
Yeah.
golf is not.
Well, they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're
That's look, her mom has a lot to do with that, more than a little bit to do that.
well, she puts up with you. She's a saint.
Oh,
I mean,
I tell her all the time. She just settled. All of her friends were getting married. She's like, well, I guess I'll
I'll
take
pick
that
this
dude.
clown. Yeah.
Maybe I can change him, and
Yeah.
she hasn't yet. I the last little argument we had was I was about 2 seconds from pulling the ticket at Best Buy to buy a PlayStation 5 because I am that immature.
Yes.
Because
Dude, I just bought an Xbox. Got to
I'm-
play NCAA
I'm
25.
tired of watching the videos of people playing NCAA.
Same.
I want to go play with my Longhorns. Me and Quinn will win national championship together. I'm telling you.
I mean, we could get online and play. I mean, we could go U of M
Exactly.
versus Texas
It's a
anytime you
social
want.
thing. Well, we're gonna get to see that live. So
And I'm sorry in advance. My Wolverines are going to make it a bad day for you
your
guys.
coach is already suspended and he ain't even played. he ain't
Yeah,
coached.
you know what? These are all alleged events.
I think
Allegedly.
I think it's
And-
crazy that they put Harbaugh on that dude is never coaching college football again a day in his life, and he's on a 4-year suspension. It's
I know.
crazy.
I know. He's even more weird now that he's with the
Oh, yeah.
Chargers. But I've watched a couple of things, and
Are you a Chargers fan though?
nope.
Cowboys.
You know what? He's a turncoat. Okay, he left at our most difficult moment that he created, both good and bad.
Well, yeah, but if had he stayed, y'all wouldn't have had a head coach for 4 years.
Is what it is.
I'm a T-shirt Longhorn
Take
fan.
it on the chin, you know.
T-shirt Longhorn fan surrounded by Aggies. Like
Oh, jeez.
Same.
generational Aggies.
You an Aggie?
Yeah.
Oh no.
No. Is she living in my house?
Yeah.
No. And
I
so-
live with an Aggie. My wife's a big Aggie.
So but I tell them all the time, like, I'm a T-shirt fan. I can switch teams at any time. You're
Yeah.
stuck with what you're. I'll go root for ASU where I actually went to school. So
But I just
stuff.
feel like in the NFL, especially, like now college, you'll never hear me. I don't care if Michigan's doesn't win a game in a year. Wow, we've been through a couple of seasons where we won 1 or 2. I will always be a Michigan fan. Always, always, always. That'll never change. But I feel like in the pros, listen, they get paid.
Right.
Okay. Well, so does college.
So does college.
So does college, yeah, right?
yeah,
But they're professionals.
Sure.
So I feel like it's kind of like the old gladiators, you know, sometimes you just got to cheer for the new guy. So now I've made a decision. I'm making it official. I was really close to being a Detroit fan.
Really
I was this close
interesting.
because I love Dan Campbell. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
which is an Aggie. But
Yeah, I was
That's
about
the
to say,
only
you
thing
know
about
who
it.
Dan
He's
Campbell
definitely
is.
not a Detroit fan now.
We're done.
I'm
I'm a Viking guy
okay.
because McCarthy went there. He's having a good spring. I'm a Viking guy this year. I already have the helmet. Chris Cole's
Yeah.
son, Joe Banyard, gave me he was so gracious to give me a signed helmet and a jersey. That the jersey's hilarious. I mean, I couldn't even put the jersey over my arm. You know, it's a fat guy in a little coat type deal. And what's crazy is Banyard's just, I don't know how they get those jerseys over the pads and
they're glued
everything.
on, yeah.
They're so teeny.
Even the high schools like that.
I mean, you could literally put it on, Riley, and I think it might be close. I mean, it's probably gonna be a little long, maybe if you stretch it, but it's so teeny.
So we're gonna hold you to this all
So,
year.
in
Yeah,
the-
I'm a Viking guy.
In the
Okay.
NFL, I'm more of a player fan. Like, I root for players.
Yeah,
See, the quarterback at Houston, Stroud. I like that dude. I like Mahomes even went to Tech, but
you like CJ Stroud, even though he played for the team that nobody likes.
I just think he's
He's good.
yeah.
I hate it, but he's good. He
Yeah.
never did beat U of M,
So
though,
I'm-
just so
I'm-
you know.
Well, and that all stems from fantasy, playing fantasy football. So I'm
Yeah.
just players. I'm a fan of players in the NFL, and then I'm
Riley, are you a
I'm
football fan? Not really.
Not really. I'll watch it, but I'm not.
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't have
care.
a specific team.
Yeah. So I mean, you could be, potentially turn to U of M just as kind of a
She has no idea
honorary.
where that's even
Sure.
at.
Okay. Yeah. I'll send you some cool
Okay.
Michigan
I'll
garb.
send you some propaganda.
Yeah,
What-
a little
hey,
propaganda.
propaganda.
Here's the test. What's Michigan's mascot? Exactly. There we go.
Hey, she
Sorry.
listen.
But you'll love them even more.
She
It's a
hasn't-
Wolverine.
She hasn't had the propaganda
Yellow
yet.
and blue. Maize
I
and
did
blue.
know that.
Yeah. Those are
Yeah.
great colors.
They do
Imagine
have
the
some
outfits
nice
we could do with
uniforms,
that.
for sure.
Hmm.
I'm just throwing
I'll
it
think
out
about
there.
it.
Okay. Kick it around. Let me know.
I'll let you know.
I've got a Michigan versus everybody shirt that my wife got that she doesn't wear.
Okay.
It could be yours.
Got it.
Okay. You just let me know. Clinton, what else we got? Anything?
No, I just kind of want to give an overarching theme for the episode. I think to David's point, it's don't let your past paralyze your future. Let your past motivate your future.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're going with that.
That's
is,
powerful, bro.
yeah, your past is motivating
Absolutely.
the future.
For
So
30 years.
yeah,
Connor, anything from you? You've been so quiet.
Did you not hear me? Can you not hear me?
we can now.
Yeah, I can now. Did you try to say something?
I spoiled it that you're a Vikings fan.
You're
I
what?
also said gig 'em. So.
Ooh.
Oh, you threw a gig 'em in there?
Ouch.
Yeah, nobody heard that.
I'll be sure to edit that out.
Yeah, we'll edit that.
Give a little
It's okay,
beep.
Clinton. You'll give it away like 5 seconds later anyway.
Yeah.
You know what? It might have been better that we just didn't ask Connor anything.
Yeah. No, it's been a great episode. Thank y'all so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Go win state. And then what we've said to everybody is we'll just circle back and have you back on after you win state. And you
Yes.
can have the ring and the trophy. And
But I want, when they come back after this year's state title, dig them out of the underwear drawer. We
I
need to
want
see
the
it. We want to see it on the thumb.
And I
and the-
know we're going along here. We have them. The girls don't know we have them. We're going to give them to them we have Meet the Bearcats. So I have
cool.
mine. And I thought, did we wear the rings? He said, man, that's kind of bragging, isn't it? And so I didn't bring it. So I have a buddy that
you should have brought the ring.
and again, I know we're going along here, but I have a buddy that coaches at Alito. He's won 4 state championships in football. And we have a-
Alito's so awesome in
I
football.
coached with him at Godley. He had come from Alito and went back to Alito as the defense coordinator. And so he has 4. And so I have a little group chat of Godley coaches that I texted him one day. I said, hey, Billy, do you wear all 4 on one hand or you wear 2 and 2? And he goes, no, go 2 and 2. If you wear all 4, it's kind of like you're bragging.
No, it's the Tom Brady effect.
Yeah, those
now
other guys
you'll be
are
able
like,
to.
shut up.
Now you'll just be able to hold up your hand. So
Yeah, it's like
you
the
got to
Michael
bring the
Jackson
ring.
glove,
You got to bring the ring.
Yeah.
Bring the trophy. And so thanks for joining us. These episodes air every Friday night, 9 p.m. It's been a great episode with the Wood family and current and remaining state champions.
Reigning, defending,
defending, and
undisputed.
back to back this year. State champions. So thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great Friday evening. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on the next one.